When the day draws to its gentle close and the outer senses begin to dim, you are not approaching unconsciousness. You are approaching the threshold of creation. Night is not an absence of activity. It is the womb of God. And since imagination is God, and imagination is your very being, then the moment before sleep is the holiest hour of your day. You have been taught to believe that the world shapes you. You have been persuaded that events impress themselves upon you and that you must struggle to alter conditions. But I tell you with the certainty of direct knowing, consciousness is the only reality. The world does not act upon you. It reflects you. It does not decide your fate. It echoes your assumption. Creation is finished. There is nothing to be created. There are only states to be occupied. Infinite states already exist, just as infinite rooms exist within a vast mansion. You do not build the room. You enter it. You do not manufacture destiny. You assume it. And so the great secret is this: you must release the old state to enter the new. You cannot serve two states at once. You cannot be the one who longs and the one who has. You cannot be the one who doubts and the one who knows. As Scripture declares, no man can serve two masters. Psychologically understood, you cannot occupy two assumptions simultaneously. The man you have been is nothing but a state you have worn. It is not your identity, it is not your essence, it is a garment, and garments are meant to be changed. Before sleep, you are invited to remove the garment of the old man. Remove the identity that says, I am not yet, I am trying, I hope, I fear. These are but states. They have no life of their own. They borrow life from your attention. Withdraw attention, and they dissolve like mist before the morning sun. Sleep is not a passive descent into darkness. It is a surrender into creative authority. As you fall asleep, the conscious mind relaxes its grip, and the deeper self receives impression without resistance. What you feel to be true in that borderland between wakefulness and sleep is impressed upon the deeper strata of being, and what is impressed must be expressed. Feeling is the secret, not forced emotion, not excitement, not effort. Feeling as knowing, feeling as naturalness, feeling as inevitability. Do it like this before sleep. Lie upon your bed and allow the body to grow still. Let the limbs become heavy, not through strain, but through permission. Close your eyes, not to escape the world, but to withdraw from its tyranny. The outer senses will begin to fade. Do not resist this. Welcome it. You are turning from shadow to substance. Now, bring before your mind's eye a single scene, which would be true if your desire were already fulfilled. Not the process, not the becoming, the fulfillment itself. Make it short, make it vivid, make it natural. If you desire health, see yourself being congratulated on your radiant vitality. If you desire abundance, hear a trusted friend remark upon your financial freedom. If you desire love, feel the presence of the beloved beside you, not as longing but as possession. Do not watch it as a spectator. Enter it, stand within it, feel its tones, its textures, its atmosphere. Allow the scene to imply that it is done. The key is implication. The scene must carry the feeling of completion. Then let go of all concern for how it will come to pass. The how belongs to the outer arrangement of states. Your only responsibility is occupation. Occupy the state as you would occupy a room. Close the door behind you. As you repeat the scene gently, without strain, allow the feeling of naturalness to arise. It should not feel dramatic. It should feel obvious. It should feel like memory rather than fantasy. For imagination, when rightly used, is memory of what eternally exists. You are not creating something new. You are selecting what already is. Creation is finished. If thoughts of the former state arise, do not wrestle with them. Simply refuse to feed them. They are echoes of a room you have left. Why argue with an empty chamber? Return to your chosen state. You must let go of the old man. Let him die. Not through violence, but through neglect. The old self survives only through repetition. Stop repeating him. Stop telling his story. Stop rehearsing his limitations. Instead, rehearse the end. Rehearse the fulfilled desire. Fall asleep in the assumption that it is done. As you drift towards sleep, let the scene become more and more effortless. Eventually, the words will fade. The images may soften. What remains is the feeling. Guard that feeling. Carry it across the threshold into sleep. Sleep, sustained in the assumption of the wish fulfilled, is the great creative act. For what you assume to be true, though denied by the senses, hardens into fact. The world must conform. It has no choice. It is not independent. It is not autonomous. It is yourself pushed out. When you awaken in the morning, do not look to the outer world for confirmation. That is the habit of the old state. Instead, rise as the one who already is. Carry yourself with the quiet conviction of fulfillment. You are not pretending, you are being. There is no need to force action. Appropriate action will flow from the state you occupy. The state contains its own patterns of behavior, its own opportunities, its own rearrangements of circumstance. You do not strain to make it happen. You remain faithful to the assumption. Faith is not belief in an external deity. Faith is loyalty to your unseen assumption. It is persistence in being the one you have chosen to be, even when the senses whisper otherwise. The senses are not enemies. They are delayed mirrors. What they show you is past assumption made visible. If you dislike what you see, do not attempt to smash the mirror. Change the face you present to it. Change of state is the only change. You cannot serve two states at once. You cannot lie in bed feeling wealthy and rise feeling deprived. You cannot assume love at night and rehearse rejection by day. Choose the state. Live in it inwardly. Let the outer world take care of itself. You are already the one you seek to be. The seeking is the veil. Drop it. Enter the state. Feel it real. Persist. There is a silence within you deeper than thought. In that silence, all states exist. When you enter imagination with authority, you are not daydreaming. You are selecting from eternity. This is why the moment before sleep is sacred. It is the doorway through which you impress the deeper self, and the deeper self is faithful. It accepts what you give it without judgment. Give it fear, and it multiplies fear. Give it fulfillment, and it arranges fulfillment. You are the operant power, not your effort, not your rituals, not your affirmations spoken mechanically, your identity. Who are you being as you fall asleep? That is the question which determines your tomorrow. Let the old state fall away. Do not carry it into sleep. Do not rehearse grievances. Do not relive failures. These are seeds, and seeds, once planted in the soil of sleep, will sprout as experience. Instead, plant fulfillment. Plant gratitude as fact, not as hope. Feel the relief of completion. Feel the calm of having arrived. It will not feel like fireworks. It will feel like inevitability. And in that inevitability, you will know the truth that sets you free. Consciousness precedes experience. The inner assumption becomes the outer event. You are not at the mercy of time. You are not waiting for circumstances. You are selecting states. The state selected, when sustained, must objectify. So, do it like this before sleep. Withdraw from the outer noise. Enter imagination deliberately. Construct a simple scene that implies fulfillment. Feel it natural. Let it become memory. Fall asleep in it. And then release all anxiety. For the seed is planted. The law is impersonal and exact. Assumption, persisted in, hardens into fact. There is no exception. The only question is which assumption you are nurturing. Let the former state die. Bless it and release it. It served its purpose. It revealed what you no longer choose. Now choose again. Night after night, enter the new state. Wear it. Walk in it inwardly. Speak from it mentally. Think from it, not of it. In time, you will discover that the outer world has rearranged itself quietly, almost unnoticed, to mirror your inner conviction. You will call it coincidence. Others will call it luck. But you will know that you did not change the world. You changed your state. And the world, being yourself pushed out, had no choice but to follow. This is the law. This is the promise. This is the revelation remembered. Do it like this before sleep. And let consciousness reveal its glory through you. For you must understand this more deeply. There is no power outside of awareness. There is no force in the heavens, no decree in the stars, no hidden authority determining your path. The only authority is the one who says, I am. And that awareness of being, that simple sense of existence within you now, is God. When Moses stood before the burning bush and asked for a name, the answer was not a title, not a doctrine, not a religion. The answer was, I am. This was not spoken of another. It was the revelation of being itself. And that same I am speaks within you now as your own consciousness. Whatever you attach to I am becomes your state. Say silently, I am tired, and you assume the state of fatigue. Say, I am forgotten, and you enter the state of neglect. Say, I am secure, and you move into the state of safety. The words themselves are not magic. It is the assumption behind them. It is the identity accepted. Therefore, before sleep, be vigilant about the identity you claim. Do not carelessly drift into unconscious repetition of the old man. Do not allow the day's appearances to dictate your being. The outer world is always the echo of prior assumptions. It has no authority to define you unless you accept its definition. You are not attempting to change circumstances. You are shifting identity. This is subtler than effort. It is quieter than struggle. It is the simple decision to no longer occupy a former state. Consider how easily you move through rooms in your home. You do not argue with the kitchen when you desire the bedroom. You do not persuade the hallway to transform. You simply walk into another room. So it is with states. They coexist, they are present now. The state of poverty and the state of wealth are both available. The state of illness and the state of vitality are both complete. You do not create either. You enter one. And entry is by assumption. To assume is not to hope. It is not to wish. It is not to strain. To assume is to accept as true. When you assume something, you stop questioning it. You stop looking for proof. You proceed as though it were fact. This quiet acceptance is the creative act. If, before sleep, you can accept the fulfilled desire as fact, not emotionally inflated, not theatrically exaggerated, but calmly accepted, then you have performed the work. There is nothing more to do. You may ask, what if I do not yet feel it natural? Then persist gently. Repeat the scene, not with desperation, but with familiarity. Allow it to become comfortable. The first night it may feel new. The second night it will feel familiar. The third night it will begin to feel obvious. And once it feels obvious, it is yours. Naturalness is the sign of successful assumption. The world is not waiting to judge your worthiness. It is waiting to reflect your conviction. It mirrors without discrimination. It mirrors saint and sinner alike. It mirrors doubt as faithfully as it mirrors faith. It has no opinion. It is law. And law does not respond to emotion alone. It responds to sustained identity. You may become excited for a moment and imagine success, But if you return to the old identity of lack, the old state remains dominant. It is not the intensity of feeling that matters. It is the continuity of being. Therefore, do not attempt to generate dramatic emotion before sleep. Instead, cultivate certainty. Certainty is quiet. Certainty does not shout. Certainty rests. When you lie upon your bed tonight, allow yourself to feel the relief that comes with finality. The matter is settled. The desire is fulfilled. There is nothing to chase, nothing to fix, nothing to earn. This relief is not laziness, it is completion. The old man thrives on effort. He believes that by doing more, striving harder, worrying longer, he will compel reality to change. But reality does not respond to force, it responds to assumption. Let the old man go to sleep without you. Leave him behind. Do not carry his fears across the threshold of slumber. You are not obligated to maintain him. Scripture speaks of being born again. This is not a future event. It is a psychological shift. It is the abandonment of one state and the entrance into another. Each night you are given the opportunity to be born anew. The moment between wakefulness and sleep is the Jordan River. Cross it consciously. As you drift, you may notice thoughts attempting to intrude reminders of bills, conversations, unfinished tasks. These are fragments of the former state seeking continuity. Do not wrestle with them. Simply return to your chosen scene. Persist, gently but firmly. Imagination is not fantasy. It is the divine medium of creation. Every visible object was first imagined. Every structure, every invention, every relationship began as a mental image accepted as possible. What is true on the collective scale is true individually. The unseen precedes the seen. You are not separate from this law. You are its embodiment. When you understand that consciousness is the only reality, fear begins to dissolve. For if consciousness is the source of all experience, then there is no external power to threaten you. There is only misidentification, the temporary occupation of a state you no longer choose. If you find yourself experiencing what you dislike, do not condemn yourself. Simply recognize, I have been occupying a state unconsciously, and then choose again. There is no punishment in this law. There is only reflection. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, choose deliberately. Decide who you are, not who you have been told you are, not who circumstances suggest you are, who you are in consciousness. Claim it inwardly. Feel the solidity of it. Let the body grow heavy while the assumption grows strong. Do not rush to sleep. Allow sleep to overtake you while you remain faithful to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. If you awaken during the night, return to it. If you wake in the morning, resume it. This is not a technique to be used once and abandoned. It is a way of being. It is the disciplined use of imagination aligned with identity. You may not see immediate outer change, and that is of no concern. The outer world is the last to know. The seed germinates beneath the soil before any sprout appears. Do not dig it up with doubt. Leave it planted. Time is simply the unfolding of assumption into visibility. What you are conscious of being now determines what time will reveal. Therefore, remain inwardly loyal. There will come a moment, perhaps subtle, perhaps dramatic, when the outer world rearranges itself so precisely that you recognize the echo of your former imaginal act. And in that moment, you will understand, not intellectually, but experientially, that imagination creates reality. You will see that you did not force anything. You did not manipulate anyone. You did not coerce circumstances. You simply changed states. And the state expressed itself. This is the simplicity that confounds the logical mind. The mind seeks complexity, systems, rituals. But the law is simple. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and persist. Persist not in effort, but in identity. The world will attempt to seduce you back into the old state. Appearances may contradict your assumption, but appearances are shadows cast by prior belief. They are not prophecy, they are history. Do not live in history. Live in fulfillment. Before sleep tonight, let this be your silent declaration. It is done, not as words repeated mechanically, but as a recognition. The matter is settled in consciousness. And because consciousness is the only reality, the outer must follow. Rest in that certainty. Allow sleep to seal it. And know with a calm that requires no proof that what you have assumed to be true is already moving into visibility, for it exists now as a state, and you have entered it. This is the way. Do it like this before sleep, and remain faithful to the being you have chosen, until the mirror of the world reveals the face you have accepted as your own.